Today on Locked On Red Wing, Andrew Copp impacts all situations as Detroit cruises to another preseason victory.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and available wherever you get your podcasts. Scotty, we got another fun episode for the people as the Red Wings dominate yet another preseason game with over 40 shots while allowing fewer than 20. Another game where a lot of prospects played and performed well, but this time we got a lot more veterans and, the bona fide stars on this team in as well. So it was a really healthy mix of the players you love to see and the players that you hope to see. And we'll talk about all of that. In segment one here, obviously, we'll talk about our difference makers, the players that we thought were, difference makers in the hockey game. Pretty self-explanatory, Scotty.
This guy.
Then we'll talk about, in segment two, other storylines that stand out to us. In segment three, we got stuff. So, Scotty, before we get to that, got to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All right, Scotty, right off the bat, let's talk about difference makers. A 5-2 victory for the Detroit Red Wings on home ice here at LCA. The first of a real gauntlet of hockey games. You pointed out just before we recorded, they play tomorrow and Saturday, and then Monday and Tuesday. Again, 8 preseason games in 12 days. It's compact schedule.
It's 8 in 12 days. It's also 5 in 6 days. That we're kicking off that stretch of 5 preseason games in 6 days, dude. That is diabolical. That's wild. But we talked about it before we hit record, and you had mentioned, that this team wants to be game ready, and that's something that McClellan has really driven home. Is like, no warm up time, it's going to take us a couple of weeks to get there. We want to hit the ground running, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, with McClellan and his coaching staff coming in and seeing a lot of these players, McClellan obviously having about half a season to get used to these and get to know these players, but with these prospects, a lot of the time it's his first time seeing it, so he kind of just wants to get as much data and information out of these players as he can. I mean, I don't know if he had an impact on them playing this many games. That could have been a Steve Yzerman decision. But, I mean, it's a lot of games. He's got a lot of time. Obviously, huge roster during preseason, so they have more than enough bodies to give guys rest while other guys play these games. But, yeah, Scotty, we're already off track. Difference maker in this one, 5-2 win. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Razor, man. I highly debated just stealing yours and just being a huge jerk and just be like...
Shocking.
But all right, chill. But I think it's... Like, you could have easily pivoted to a handful of guys. I think there was a lot of we'll obviously talk about it, but there's a lot of really good performances in this game. I'm going to go with Raymond. I just thought he was everywhere offensively, man. Like, not only did he end, you just look at the box score, he ended with 2 assists in this game, but he also he didn't end with a goal, but was peppering the goaltender. Wow, that was crazy. That was an all-time kind of, my mind just went completely blank there. Anyway, I think he led the team in shots. Oh, him and Mason Appleton. There you go. The two
the usual suspects.
Yeah, right. Just as we'd predict, leading the team in shots with 5 apiece. So yeah, like I just think that he was really, and that line we expect to do really well, obviously, but just was kind of everywhere and was an absolute force offensively. And whenever the puck was on his stick, it seemed like something happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's Lucas Raymond playing in a preseason game. It's kind of, again, talking about the Sebastian Cossa conversation from the other day. It's like the bare minimum. You expect Lucas Raymond to dominate, even if he's going half speed, three-quarter speed. And he played really well. He had a really nice setup for Emmitt Finnie chance that got stonewalled. It was actually a really nice sequence by all 3 of those forwards leading into that goal. Finnie fed Lucas Raymond just across the blue line. Lucas Raymond went across the zone to Dylan Larkin, who then fed Emmitt Finnie back, who was breaking in late and just got stoned by Georgiev. But yeah, Lucas Raymond looked like Lucas Raymond. He looks like he's in game shape. I think that you could choose him. I also think you could choose about 15 other players on the roster tonight, because it's almost, and we've talked about it, when games go terrible or when games go too well, it's actually hard to break down the game because everything was going so well that it's hard to find things to critique. Yeah. And this was one of those games. There is a pretty glaring thing we can critique, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But again, it's a preseason game, so like we're not going to get too upset. We're going to try and not get too high either. My difference maker, Scotty, is actually going to be Andrew Copp. Again, same vein here, where this is an established NHL veteran, so I would hope he plays well in a preseason game. But I really liked what I saw out of his line as a whole. This was the first time we got to see this kind of reinvented, or I guess retooled matchup line with Mason Appleton on the wing, and Andrew Copp contributed to a goal in every situation. On the penalty kill, he forechecked very hard, forced a turnover behind the Buffalo Sabres net, fed Mason Appleton, who scored his first in a Red Wings winged wheel. It's an unofficial goal, but it is still his first win in the winged wheel. Put the Wings up 1-0 before they very shortly allowed a power play goal to tie it 1-1. And then on the power play, he set a nice screen for Michael Brandsegg-Nygard's goal. Yeah. And then at even strength, he showcased really nice hand-eye coordination. And this is where Lucas Raymond wraps back in. Lucas Raymond danced through the offensive zone to get that puck to the net. Andrew Copp at 5-on-5 out-battled a net front battle with Owen Power, who is a big boy, to knock the puck out of the air and into the back of the net.
He's got some power.
Like that was clearly not because Andrew Copp overpowered him, but Andrew Copp very clearly, my brain just skipped. It was like a record skipping there for a second.
Same, yeah.
Andrew Copp literally was a difference maker in that he impacted every single type of special teams and 5-on-5 situation in this game to help the Red Wings win. Again, bare minimum. Right out of a vet in a preseason, you want to see that. Like, that's the expectation to see that. But it was also, given the fact that he had a season-ending injury, he had to have surgery to repair it, and he's just always under the microscope because of the lucrative contract he signed a few offseasons ago to come to Detroit. It was reassuring to see him have that kind of impact in a very aggressive forechecking role.
Yeah, and I think the last part you brought up there is obviously extremely important. I think that when it comes to Copp this season, I mean, obviously we've talked about it a lot, but I am really fascinated in his role because this is a guy that has had so many ups and downs throughout his Red Wings tenure, right? Like this is he looked pretty good actually until the injury last season, right? So that kind of stops momentum. You don't know what you're going to get this year. So to have, again, albeit a preseason game, not the best competition over there either, but to have a game like this where you can at least see, okay, there's the aggressive forecheck, and it directly led to his production on the offensive side of the ice and was obviously a difference maker defensively. It's kind of nice to know that at least that play style can still be successful for him. It's just a matter of whether that, continues to translate into the regular season.
Yeah, and I thought that entire line played really well. The Red Wings as a whole were very aggressive on the forecheck in tonight's game, which led to a lot of puck possession, which led to a lot of shot attempts, and not a lot of shot attempts against, which I think for how this team is built is kind of going to be the winning formula. Be aggressive on the forecheck, win the possession. That way you don't have to defend as much. Red Wings as a team, Scotty, according to ESPN's box score, had 2 blocked shots in this game.
That's crazy.
We're used to seeing like 20 blocked shots because they play so often in the defensive zone without the puck that they have to block. Like,
that's a great point. It's not because they're like, this is like going to be integrated into the team. And it's like, it's just like, no, They just
desperation.
Suck at 5-on-5. Like they're so bad at 5-on-5 that they're just in their own zone for 60% of the game.
You don't have to block a lot of shots if you're not in the D zone.
Right.
As great as it is to see players have a lot of hits, have a lot of blocked shots, a lot of the time it is reflective too on the fact that you lack possession. So it's a double-edged sword, right? Like you're great to see you guys blocking shots, but also you don't have to block as many shots if you just have the puck.
Right.
Scotty, let's head to a break. When we return, we'll talk about other notable performers, other storylines from this hockey game. Stay tuned to segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You're going to love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds, like this Seattle Seahawks and Arizona Cardinals game that I totally don't have on my TV to my right as we record this game, or episode rather. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little bit more energy to Sundays. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com, the place, your first $5 bet. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. And yes, Scotty, I saw Marvin Harrison Jr. score the touchdown. But he's still at only 14 points. He's been dog
Only
water all season so
14
far.
14 is a pretty decent day at the office, bud.
Yeah, because he finally learned how to catch a ball.
You're starting J.K. Dobbins over him. I'm not sure you could.
Because he's been terrible.
I'm
making decisions. I agree
with
on his
you.
history.
I'm just saying. I'm not sure. You said only 14. I'm not sure J.K. Dobbins is going to roll out there and put up a 16-point week this week. That's all.
We'll see. J.K. Dobbins has had a couple of nice weeks this season.
It's like Mr. Consistent right there. Solid, 6 to 8 every week.
15 and a half, 15.3 all 3 weeks.
Is that Dobbins' season? Good for him, man. I don't know what I'm talking about then. That's a nice year.
Yeah, unlike Marvin Harrison Jr. for the most part. Scotty,
Correct.
Other notable performers for you on this hockey game?
Well, let's talk Mason Appleton, baby. I mean, golly, had the goal there early. Obviously, we mentioned a little bit in passing. We know that it's going to be a revolving door, obviously, throughout the preseason to kind of figure out not only the top line wing situation, but also the bottom 6 wings, right? And how that kind of falls into place. And so, he's a guy that obviously I don't think anyone is expecting like the world of, but if he can be a solid depth winger on this team, that's a win. And so, yeah, that's really all I have to say, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously scored the 1 goal shorthanded. He almost got another one. It looked like he sent it through the crease. Albert Johansson jumped up in the defensive zone on a 50-50 puck, pushed it out to the neutral zone, and Appleton joined for a 2-on-1. Johansson slid it across. Appleton couldn't finish. So it's actually kind of ironic. Obviously, we knew, there was confusion when he first signed his power play, penalty kill, because people kept telling us different things. Ultimately, he's a penalty kill guy. Was always going to be a penalty kill guy. We just didn't really know who we were getting at first. But it's ironic that his offense has mostly come on the penalty kill. With the penalty kill in mind, why don't we talk about that for a second? The Red Wings allowed 2 power play goals on the first 2 penalty kills that they had. Obviously, they scored first on the first one before allowing a goal. But they weren't great penalty kills. And again, I'm not going to get too high. I'm not going to get too low. This isn't the Red Wings' true lineup going into the season, so there's still a lot of tinkering going around. The first one was just a tic-tac-toe blast by Ostlund, who scored the goal. And then the second one was Cam Talbot made the initial save. It came right out to Josh Stone, and no one was around to challenge him, and he just skated right around Cam Talbot and tucked it in. So obviously that's another thing that is going to be under the microscope. In fact, Max Bultman of The Athletic just wrote an article about how the penalty kill has to get better. Literally, I think Thursday morning, if it was not maybe Wednesday, and then they go out there and get scored on the first 2. But after that, it settled down. They played much better. I think they went total 2 for 5 on the penalty kill. Has to be better than that. It has to be better than that.
Well, yeah.
But again, it's the preseason. I'm not going to make any snap judgments. I just wanted to point it out because I knew that was going to be on people's minds.
For sure. And that is something that, again, you even hinted at the very top of the show, right? Like, that's something that is going to be under a microscope for not only the preseason, but obviously into the regular season as well. And Yeah, I mean, as we talked about earlier this week, I'm really interested in just the different personnel groupings really throughout the preseason when it comes to the kill, and obviously, who's successful and who's not, but just who plays with who is going to be a pretty interesting, I don't know, conversation piece.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's what I landed on, but
it was just funny the way you're like, I don't know. It's like,
because I couldn't think of. Yeah,
we are struggling to find words apparently today.
Yeah, man.
Especially at the end of sentences.
I'm ready for bed.
What's wrong? Has something happened? Scotty, prospects wise, there's so many prospects to hit on. I actually thought it was really cool. You got to see like the Larkin line and the Copp line with the literal top prospects the team has to offer minus Carter Bear. You saw Sandin-Pellikka, you saw Brandsegg-Nygard, you saw Lombardi, you saw Finnie, you saw Danielson, you saw Mazur. You can hit on all of them. Let's start with MBN, I think, is a good place to start. MBN scored a power play goal. It was right there, top of the left circle. It was a nasty snapshot off the far side post and in, I believe. Again, that's where Copp had that beautiful screen that he picked up. MBN, and similar with ASP, are looking a little bit more comfortable as each game progresses. I do think that both guys are slated to play in Grand Rapids, but both guys picked up a point in this one. They were part of it, what was honestly a really nasty on paper power play 2 that obviously converted on that power play goal. That power play 2, by the way, was Axel Sandin-Pellikka, Michael Brandsegg-Nygard, Nate Danielson, Emmitt Finnie, and Andrew Copp as a net front. Like, is that not like the most hype prospect power play unit that then converted as well? They were moving the puck really well. They were moving with a lot of pace. Sandin-Pellikka continues to impress me with his ability to kind of stretch the blue line, his ability to kind of just stick handle and skate along the blue line to open up space for his teammates. Again, still a lot left to be desired in the development. He's not ready for the NHL yet. But again, it's just those things that you drafted them for show up. And that's what gives you the encouragement, like these guys are on the right path.
For sure. I think that's a great point, honestly, is the fact that, you know what, you can acknowledge that there's still signs for development while also pointing out, you know what, on draft night, we said that this player was good at this, and we are seeing that they are good at that. Like that does mean something. And so I think that, I mean, MBN was that shot was a strong snapshot. It was a strong shot at the net, which is what we were told, right? Like solid two-way guy that also has an underrated shot. And so that was nice to see. I've been really impressed with him. It's not like the flashiest, but I just don't think he's a flashy player. Like he is just a solid, not afraid to go into corners. Again, I think could thrive in an aggressive forecheck system like this because of his style of play. Two-way with a good shot kind of sounds like the poster child for a forecheck and score system. Right. So yeah, man, like I think he's I've really liked what I've seen so far. It's, again, not a guy that's going to be on the NHL roster on opening night, but I think maybe could be further along in development than even I gave him credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Nate Danielson had a really, again, another solid showing. What a showing that, again, isn't going to show up too big on the stat sheet. Didn't pick up any points in this one, but just a two-way game that he has, I don't know how to describe it other than he looks like he belongs. It's not flashy. He just looks like he belongs. Talking about the forecheck, he forced several turnovers in the offensive zone by just forechecking to the right place at the right time, picking off errant passes, and creating opportunities. Defensively, he's responsible and engaged in the defensive zone. In the neutral zone, he's doing it all. It's hard to describe all the things he does well because it's not flashy, but he just looks like he belongs. And that is something that is so encouraging to me. I really liked Amadeus Lombardi's game too. I still think there's things left to be desired in the defensive zone, but in the offensive zone, he just buzzes. Like there were a couple times late in that third period where he was along the boards and then all of a sudden he cuts to the middle and he's in all alone in the net. It's like, how does he do that? How does he do that? It's crazy. And his hands are so smooth. And then Emmitt Finnie, like he's not out of place with Larkin and Raymond. And
No,
I don't
man.
know, are Larkin and Raymond going 100%? I don't know. But even if they're going 50%, he looks comfortable at that speed. And he plays with them. He, again, set up and then almost benefited from that play, I think in the second period, where he was in all alone on Georgiev, but he just made a incredible pad save to keep it out. All the young guys, I mean, it's really encouraging to see when a team that is so desperate for internal growth has showing signs of so much internal growth. Obviously, all of these prospects are not going to make the Detroit Red Wings. You have maybe 2 spots, but it's going to be, as of right now, it's a bit of a dogfight. I think as the next 6 preseason games pan out, things will kind of sort themselves out. But I'm hoping that a couple of these guys make it tough on McClellan on who's going to make the team and who's not.
100%. 100%. I completely agree with you, obviously. And yeah, there is a solid group of, 6 or 7 guys for 3 or 4 spots. I mean, there's certainly some musical chairs that can happen there. That's going to be, heck, we'll probably have our answer by next Tuesday. I mean, golly, they play every single night. So, just get through the weekend and we'll probably have a much clearer picture of all that.
Man,
Monday's
Grand
episode is going to
Rapids.
be a bleep show, dude. We got to.
Ah, dude.
I mean,
You're right.
yeah, I do it all the time, but that's also a different sport. Like it's it's a different sport. There's going to be a lot to cover.
Well, and also because I'm going to be out of town this weekend for a wedding, I'm going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting watching those games, Scotty. I'm going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting.
He's going to come back home on Sunday and watch 3 consecutive hockey games back to back to prep.
How am I going to do that? Do you think they're saving the replay on DetroitRedWings.com?
They might, dude.
There might be there's like 3 games that are on FanDuel. One of them might be this weekend. I don't know crap.
You almost said something else. That was really close. That was really close. I almost got you. You
almost got me. These ad sponsors got you next. Segment 3 coming up.
Bang.
Was it though? It was a reach.
Yeah, I liked it.
No, I appreciate that. We're in a supportive mood for one another tonight, apparently.
For sure.
Scotty, there's a few more players I want to get on onto the show tonight before I talk about one other thing. The only thing I really have in the stuff category. Moritz Seider's a big boy, and he played a big boy game again tonight. He doesn't care if it's preseason. He doesn't care if it's a red and white game. He is going to go out there, and he is going to hit you hard. He is such a physical player. I saw him level a couple different players out there on one of the penalty kills. It was so funny because this guy, I don't know who it is. I don't know half these players that are playing for the Sabres right now just because I'm not locked on Buffalo Sabres. Go check them out. They're great. And their prospects. And guys like stick handling and just inside the offensive zone for the Buffalo Sabres on a power play. It's like he's trying to protect the puck and like wait for someone to come in. Moritz Seider literally just pushes him outside of the zone. Like literally just pushes him into the neutral zone. Doesn't have to play the puck, just forces him. And I'm just like watching Moritz Seider play is so fun. He gets rewarded with a heavy forecheck in the offensive zone behind the net by just throwing it to the net front. It gets punched in.
Yeah.
I love Moritz Seider, man. I love Moritz Seider.
That's what we've been begging for, man. Like how many times over the last 5 years have we been annoyed because the team, I mean, this is like a tale as old as time, and this is going to be very, it's like the first thing you see your dad yell at the TV when you're watching hockey growing up, but like, shoot the puck, dude. Like, I know that it's a very old cliche at this point, but it's kind of, what we've been begging for. Like this team, even when they were scoring a lot, it was, here's 5 goals on 17 shots. Like, you know what I mean? They've never been a team that has been capable, at least in this like era of Red Wings hockey, that has been capable of, hey, we're going to dominate the 5-on-5. We're going to dominate the special teams, and we're going to go out there and outshoot somebody by 20, 30 shots. Like that just has not been an option for them. And I think that even though it's a small thing, again, he just flicked the puck at the net and it got punched in, like whatever. I'm not going to say that's good, like a consistent happening throughout the year, but when you get the puck on the net, good things happen. I know it's very simple, layman. It's the first thing you're taught growing up, but like that is something that the Wings have been missing over the years.
Well, what was the thing I started to say last year when we were like getting 15 shots on net in an inch? Didn't the Red Wings win a game last year, 1-0 over the Sabres, where they had 11 shots on net by the end of the game?
They had one where it was like the fewest. Was that the one where it was the fewest amount of shots on net they had in a win in like 70 years or something ridiculous?
Right.
Yeah.
I began to say quantity can lead to quality, because the whole philosophy is quality over quantity. It's like, well, if you just shoot the puck on net, you can create chaos, and chaos can create those quality opportunities.
Especially with the improvement.
And Seider did that.
Right. Agree. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like with the improvement of the net front presence that the Wings hopefully have this year, it looks like they have a lot of candidates for that kind of role. I'm hoping that is something that can, benefit them even more in that regard.
Correct. I also liked Jared Bernard Docker's game as well. I keep wanting to call him Bedard Docker.
That one makes sense.
And he played 16 minutes in this hockey game. He was one of the top players. He was the top performer, second highest performer on hockey stat cards, just behind Moritz Seider in this hockey game. I believe he was also second on the team in Corsi for percentage in this hockey game at 5-on-5 at 86%. So he also created the chaos that led to the Larkin goal as well. A really nice performance by him. So that was our first showing of JBD in a winged wheel, obviously barring the red and white game. So it was nice to see. Basically, that's all you can say. It's nice to see the performance. There's not too much to break down, but I thought he was very impactful for the Detroit Red Wings in this one. And then finally, Michael Postava. First time we've seen him play against another team in a winged wheel. He faced 10 shots coming in for Cam Talbot halfway through the game. That was always the plan. Split those two performances. I really liked what I saw from Postava. Again, preseason game, not going to get too high, but from what I've read from multiple beat writers, he has impressed the coaching staff all throughout training camp. Obviously, he is the guy the Red Wings signed from the Czech League in the offseason to be the backup to Sebastian Kosa. And if this is what he is, Grand Rapids is going to have a really solid goaltending tandem. And with all the prospects they're set to get to Grand Rapids, Griffins are going to be stacked this year. So I liked what I saw out of him. Hopefully we see a little bit more. I'm sure we will. I think they're carrying 6 goalies right now, because I think they...
Yeah.
Have they sent Rudy Guimond back yet? He didn't play in the red and white game, but I don't think...
They've only had one set of cuts.
Yeah, they haven't done a whole lot because they have so many games to play.
Right, yeah, I guess they need the players, so that's actually probably it. That's probably exactly it.
Right. But anyway, Scotty, anything else on players you want to add before I get to the one thing I have in the stuff category?
No, I don't think so, man. That's about it. I thought that this was, again, even more so than the individual performances, this was just a game where you are hoping that energy and... I guess I'll use the word strategy kind of carries over. I would love for this team to be on, maybe this is stuff, but like, I would love for this team to be an aggressive forechecking, we're going to try to put the pressure on the other team style, because that is just literally the exact opposite of what Lalone did. Like that.
Right.
And like intentionally, like he was trying to not be that at all. So I think that it would be awesome if that's what this team wanted their identity to be, and it honestly might like reinvigorate the fan base a little bit early in the season if it works.
Yeah, I mean, if they play a fun brand of hockey that has a lot of shots and is high scoring, yeah, I think that'd be a lot more exciting than winning games 2-1 with 15 shots and being outshot by 30.
For sure.
I'm not trying to be sassy, but like,
no,
yes,
you're right though. I meant more in the sense of like the, if they do that and get off to, a decent start, that's when you start looking around, you go, okay, well, if this is just going to work, then we have a whole different perspective and level of excitement that can kind of carry over throughout the rest of the season. That's all.
Scotty, I did go back and double check from the first round of cuts, the only round of cuts they've made thus far. They do have 6 goalies still. On top of the 4 that we are already aware of, the 2 others they're carrying are Rudy Guimond, who they drafted in the 6th round of the 2023 draft, and Carter Gielander, who was drafted in the 2019 draft. So they do have those two guys as well who could play some games at some point during this preseason. The one thing I have for the stuff category as we approach minute 30 here on our recording is the players who were wearing the A's for the Red Wings in tonight's game, which was very interesting because, you know, we have this conversation every single year. Who's going to wear the A's? And over the years, we're like, when is it going to be Seider? When is it going to be Raymond? And this isn't official, but I did find it very intriguing that both Seider and Raymond wore the A's in the same game that Copp and Sherratt were present for, two players who have previously worn the A's for the Detroit Red Wings. Nothing is set in stone. They could just, ride out Sherratt's contract one more year. He is still a leader in the locker room despite whether or not he's wearing the A. And you could say the same thing for Seider and Raymond, but I do think that it would say a lot about the players, about Seider and Raymond, if they officially get an A, not a rotated A like last year, but officially get an A in their maturity development, as well as the team's commitment to the young core.
For sure, and that's something, that's an annual episode for us at this point, is who's going to wear the letters this upcoming season. But, I mean, that's what you want. You want the three leaders and pillars of the team to be the three guys that are under contract for the next 7 years. That's like best case scenario. So if that ends up being the case, then obviously we're going to celebrate that.
It could be something. It could be nothing. But it could be something. Scotty, any final thoughts?
We ball, baby.
We ball. We'll be back with just an absolute tornado of an episode on Monday. But we're gonna do the best. 3 games, man. We're gonna do our best here. So stay tuned for that.
And
Same
a preview.
Time. Well, technically, this should have been a preview too. They're playing. Who's it? Pittsburgh next?
They play everybody in the NHL in the next 3 days. I wouldn't even worry about it.
Oh, so I think this is the FanDuel. I think this is a FanDuel Sports Network game, if I recall. That or the next.
They
Pittsburgh
play
game.
The Penguins, the Sabres again, and then the Senators on Sunday.
One of the 2 Pittsburgh games is on FanDuel Sports Network. I just don't.
I believe Friday is the FanDuel game.
Okay,
because
Scotty,
that's the one that's on. Or is that an NHL Network game? I don't know.
It does say NHL Network, but that would be blacked out in our region if you're
correct.
If you have cable,
so that would imply. FanDuel.
Oh wait, no, but that would imply that's the FanDuel Sports Network one.
Yeah,
because if it's NHL Network, that means it's a televised game, and it's probably just their FanDuel feed.
Right.
Okay, cool. Glad we figured that out. Scotty, final thoughts.
We ball.
I think you already said that. Same time, same place. Your team every day.
Every day.